We continue from the previous episode as the stranger leapt from the cliff, landing behind Malice with a wicked grin. "There are only 6 days left until the full 10 years, he said. "Just wait. You will die by my hands." With a burst of power, he shot back into the air in a streak of light. Malice looked up, watching him rise. The stranger climbed so high that his silhouette cut across the moon, wild and feral like a beast. At the same time, on a mountain peak about 5 ri from the entrance of Mount Jangbeek, 2 figures in black robes and hats were talking. The man standing behind spoke first. "More than 20 years have passed, and it still lives up to its reputation. To think that monster is still guarding that place." His superior, wrapped in bandages, stared ahead in silence. 20 years ago, the battle on Jangbeek Mountain, when I took part as a disciple of the Blade Sword sect. Because of that battle, our sect's grand plan was delayed for 20 years. I still can't forget the nightmare of that night. He exhaled softly, then said, "Anyway, to reach Jangbeek Mountain before the demon god, we came non-stop from Napsal's Podarlap Palace." Looking down at the retreating Miram Alliance warriors, he added, "So why did the righteous sects move first?" Wang Heol narrowed his eyes. "By my estimation, the March-April forces of the Righteous Martial Alliance. For such a large group to enter Jangbeek Mountain." His subordinate pulled him from his thoughts. "Sir Wang Heol, don't tell me the Righteous Alliance also discovered the origin of the Wind White Tiger." Wang Heol nodded. "It seems highly likely." Wang Heol's subordinate stepped forward and said, "If that's true, we should wait for the Patriarch to arrive and report it to him. Right now, it's just you, me, and the Zhu sect disciples. We may be stronger individually, but they have far too many." Wang Heol smiled slightly. "Yes, you're right about that. But this might actually work in our favor." His words left the subordinate briefly flustered. Wang Heol continued, "We don't need to intervene ourselves anymore. We plan to alert the mountain monster and let it clash with the demon god anyway." His subordinate also smiled and nodded. Of course, that was the plan from the beginning. If they kill each other, perfect. And even if they don't, anyone whose chi is heavily damaged will die when the Patriarch arrives. Wang Heol glanced at the huge number of Miram Alliance warriors retreating. He cursed under his breath. Those bastards are the problem. Even after being struck by the monster, they still have too much strength left. His subordinate looked at him and asked, "After that beating, do you think they'll stay?" With a calm expression, Wang Heol replied, "If their goal is the origin itself, they'll withdraw quietly. But if they're here to disrupt our great plan, they'll try to stab us in the back." He placed a hand on his chin, thinking, "If we use the Righteous Martial Alliance's forces to eliminate all the troublemakers in one sweep, we could regain the Patriarch's trust, the trust we lost." The subordinate then asked, "Sir, between the god of war and the demon god, who do you think will win?" Wang Heol paused for a few moments before answering, "The god of war." The next day, 200 meters up Jangbeek Mountain, the Righteous Martial Alliance set up camp in a natural stronghold surrounded by mountains on 3 sides, waiting for their leaders to recover. On the 4th day, all the leaders finally regained consciousness and could begin healing their internal injuries. But Ho Hyunja, the head of the Mount Heaven sect, had suffered a broken neck and ultimately passed away. Inside the temporary command tent, the first master of the Shangxi Sword sect, Mugu Cheon, sat with his eyes closed, deep in thought. "We believe that with 5,000 elites, we could suppress the Eastern War God, but the result was miserably absurd." He glanced at the now-recovered leaders beside him and wondered quietly, "We've gathered for a meeting, but what is there even to say?" Gak-Yun folded his hands together and spoke calmly. "This humble monk cannot understand one thing. For days ago, we suffered unfortunate casualties, yet the Eastern War God let our alliance withdraw without delivering a fatal blow." Yu-Du-ji, seated across from him, nodded. "Truthfully, that bothers me as well." The head of the beggar clan looked surprised. "What exactly bothers you?" Yu-Du-ji sat up straighter. As great monk Gak-Yun said, Lord Akui seemed less interested in fighting us and more intent on blocking entry to Mount Jangbeek. And before he attacked, he looked back at the mountain, almost as if he was wary of something. Hung Yu shot to his feet, roaring, "What nonsense are you spouting? If that monster had no intention of harming our alliance, then why did he annihilate the advance party?" Gak-Yun wiped sweat from his brow. Someone ruthless enough to wipe out the advance party. Why would he spare us? Perhaps the one who killed the advance party. Makemo stood up and interrupted calmly. Please wait a moment. Aren't we taking this matter too lightly? Jin Ju-yun immediately cut him off. Patriarch Make, even if you inherited Patriarch Kang's position, Jin Ju-yun added, do you think you can simply interrupt a conversation among leaders? Makemo glared at him, holding back his irritation. I've stayed quiet, but your foolishness has gone too far. He then bowed slightly. If I've offended you, I apologize. But I speak because it feels like the leaders are dismissing those deaths as trivial. Jin Ju-yun's eyes widened in surprise. Makemo raised both hands as he continued. Of course, given the size of our forces, a few casualties may not seem like much. But they were still our comrades, our family. He stepped forward, and among the dead was one of our leaders, Ho Hyunja. Just because we were spared doesn't mean the Eastern War God wasn't the one who killed the advance party. Jin Ju-yun clenched his teeth, cursing silently. This brat. Gak-yun interjected. Indeed. Thinking about it now, this monk may have taken the victims too lightly as well. Yudu-ji waved his hand calmly. What the sect master means is that we should consider the possibility that there is another threat on Mount Jangbeek, something besides the Eastern War God. During our retreat, I felt a chilling killing intent. I am certain it did not come from him. Hung-yu slammed his hand down and pointed at Yudu-ji. Patriarch Make, and you as well, Sect Master Yu. Aren't your guesses far too absurd? Who else could possibly wipe out the Righteous Alliance's advance party? One of the captains to the side spoke up cautiously. Patriarch Pang, you were unconscious at the time. Aren't you dismissing Sect Master Yu's words too quickly? Hung-yu looked slightly embarrassed as he asked, What? Are you mocking this lord for being injured? Mugu Cheon rose calmly to his feet. We don't have much time. He extended his hand and said, The first and second strategies have already failed. Military intelligence suggests we carry out the final strategy devised by the supreme strategists. Zhang Xian spoke from the side. The commander is right. There's no meaning in arguing among ourselves. She closed her eyes briefly and continued. For now, according to the strategist's plan, we must have the demon cult or the extreme 6 martial gates engage Lord Akui, the Eastern War God. Then we strike afterward. If Lord Akui only blocks the top experts of each faction, it won't be difficult for our alliance to handle the remaining forces. Mugu Cheon glanced at her, stroking his beard as he thought. The third strategy assumes the Eastern War God has built a faction on Mount Jangbeek. But he is a one-man army. Still, there's no issue executing it. He looked around at the gathered leaders. Patriarch Make, your plan depends on the demon cult leader coming to Mount Jangbeek. Let's hope your prediction is correct. Makemo smiled slightly, raising his hand. He obtained the origin of the Fire Cheon, then went north and seized the origin of the Dragon Ogre. He will surely come to Mount Jangbeek. If we prepare a perfect ambush, not only can we take the spiritual beast's origin, we might even use this chance to kill the demon god. But suddenly, a deep voice echoed through the hall. Quite an amusing plan. Make-Emo turned in shock as he saw movement behind him. Make-Emo frantically searched for the source of the voice as all the commanders and leaders turned toward the back. He roared, Who just said that? The warriors of the Miram Alliance drew their swords at once. Someone's here. Behind us. Make-Emo faced that direction, gritting his teeth as a tremor ran through him. How could so many experts fail to sense a presence? No, impossible. A figure stood at the entrance, still concealed. He spoke. I was wondering where you disappeared to. His tone sharpened. So you were pulling tricks here? Make-Emo recognized the voice. His fists tightened as he trembled. Cheon Yeo-Woon's face slowly emerged as his invisibility faded. If you've touched someone else's property, covering his face with one hand, hiding a cold grin, he finished. You need to pay the price. The scene shifts to 7 days earlier. Imperial capital, Kaifeng, Heavenly Demon Cult Branch Reception Room. Elder Huan and Elder Yun walked calmly into the Kaifeng branch of the Heavenly Demon Cult. The 2 officers stationed there bowed respectfully. Elder Huan and Elder Yun have arrived. The man before them was Gu Munjong, the Kaifeng branch chief of the Heavenly Demon Cult. He asked, Did the cult leader give a command? Elder Huan smiled lightly. No, this matter involves a bit of my own discretion as well. Gu Munjong looked surprised. He quickly asked, Elder Huan, who oversees the Dark Sect Division, cannot leave the main headquarters. If you move without a command from the cult leader. Elder Huan lightly smiled as she searched her robe and said, Oh dear, it's not completely my own decision. She pulled out a document, the Heavenly Demon Order, with a stamped seal at the bottom. Gu Munjong and his subordinates' eyes widened as they recognized it. The Heavenly Demon Order. Both of them knelt deeply. 12th Elder G.H. Chiavong pays respects to the Heavenly Demon Order. Elder Huan smiled slightly, pressing her hands together. For today, the cult leader has entrusted me with something you may call an emergency Heavenly Demon Order. Gu Munjong spoke up. If it's an emergency, is it because of the Righteous Martial Alliance's movements? I've already sent messenger birds to the North Sea and the main sect, which is why there has been no reply. Elder Huan shook her head softly. Oh dear. Gu Munjong raised his head. Why do you say that? Elder Yun folded her arms. It hasn't been that long, so you may not have noticed yet, 12th Elder. Kai Feng has been isolated. If you enjoyed this episode, remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss what happens next. See you next time.